It begins at a gas station, and it begins with a decline. You try to use your debit card, and the screen tells you no. There is a line behind you, and you are doing frantic arithmetic in your head, trying to calculate whether the transfer you made yesterday was enough to cover this. It wasn't. Your account is negative. The bank system, which does not know your name or that your paycheck was simply delayed by 2 days, activates flawlessly. It charges you a $35 overdraft fee. You are doing the math of poverty. Because you did not have money, you now have less of it. At this level, you are not a customer. You are cost the bank is trying to recover. That night something breaks, not loudly, but structurally. You decide to build a machine. You have $100. It is an amount that usually disappears in a weekend without you noticing, spent on things you can't even name by Monday. You set up an automatic transfer to an index fund. You don't overthink it, you just click confirm. You check the account the next day. The market has moved 0.3%, and your $100 has become $99.70. It looks nothing like wealth. 6 months pass. You have been feeding the account $100 every month like a plant you aren't sure is alive. The balance reads $578. It is not a life-changing number. And this is the part nobody talks about because there is nothing to talk about. You are in the boring middle. The gap between knowing what to do and continuing to do it when nothing visible is rewarding you is where most people quietly exit. But you don't exit. In year 2, your first real test arrives. The market drops 14% over 11 weeks. You watch $380 evaporate from your small balance, feeling it in a specific place that is not quite your stomach and not quite your chest. But you do not sell. You transfer your $100 on schedule because the schedule does not negotiate with market conditions. You realize something powerful. That $100 just bought more shares than it did 3 months ago because the prices are lower. The share count is moving in only one direction. Slowly, your reality begins to tilt. Your direct deposit has been stable, your balance is creeping up, and the bank algorithm notices. You are no longer treated with automated indifference. The monthly maintenance fees disappear. You log into your app and your credit limit has been increased from $4,000 to $9,500 without you asking because the bank is extending you more rope now that your history shows you don't need it. When you apply for a car loan, the rate is 6.8% instead of 11%. The system is beginning to quietly tilt in your favor, keeping more capital in your hands. Then comes year 10, and with it the first tipping point. You are 34 years old. You have contributed $12,000 total over 120 months. Your account balance is roughly $20,500. You look at the annual summary and you freeze. In the last year alone, your portfolio returned roughly $1,700. You stare at the math. You only put in $100 a month. But the market put in $1,700. For the first time in your life, your money is working harder than you are. You have a second contributor putting money into your account every month, and that someone is time. The returns have stopped feeling like a bonus and started feeling like a partner. You keep feeding the machine. You begin to specifically buy into dividend aristocrats, companies like Johnson & Johnson and Coca-Cola that make things people buy regardless of the economy. They pay you a share of their profit every 90 days and you automatically reinvest those dividends to buy even more shares. The dividends buy shares. The shares produce more dividends, and the loop is closed. By year 20, the acceleration is no longer subtle. It is violent. You are 44. Your total contributions are $24,000, but your account balance is approximately $76,000. The gap between what you contributed and what you have is now more than double your total investment. But the true plot twist is the annual return. In year 20, the account is returning roughly $7,000 annually. You are still only putting in $1,200 a year, but the account is adding $7,000. The machine has become the primary contributor. You are almost a passenger at this point. The banking system now treats you like an entirely different species. You have crossed into the realm of high savings. You have a priority queue when you call the bank, meaning hold times are shorter, and the person who answers has actual authority to waive fees and make exceptions. You are not a customer anymore. You are a preferred client, flagged in the system as someone worth protecting. Finally, year 30 arrives, the ultimate tipping point. You are 54. You have contributed $36,000 of your own money. Your account balance is approximately $227,000. Over time, consistency and compound interest have produced $191,000 that you never deposited, never earned at a job, and never won. Your portfolio is generating roughly $22,700 annually, without you touching the principal. That is nearly $1,900 a month. You decide to make the transition. You turn off the automatic reinvestment. You don't sell a single share, but you let the dividends flow directly into your checking account. The companies keep paying. The machine keeps running. But now the money is arriving in your life. It is a Tuesday afternoon, and you are sitting in a meeting at work. The meeting is tense. Leadership is pushing a direction you fundamentally disagree with. The old version of you, the one at the gas station, would have sat in silent anxiety, terrified of losing the paycheck. But your phone vibrates in your pocket. It is a notification from your bank. Your quarterly dividend has deposited. It is enough to cover your car payment, your insurance, your utilities, and your groceries for the month. You look at your boss. Your presence in this room is no longer a requirement. It is a choice. The dependency on your employer is no longer absolute. You have built the ultimate superpower, optionality. You have the ability to say no and mean it, without catastrophe following. You smile quietly. You did not inherit this life, and you did not win the lottery. You built it by doing one small, embarrassingly boring thing every month for 30 years. You fed the machine, and now, the machine is feeding.